Hi, this is live. This is the Peter Repeater, the episode 12, the evening edition. I'm uploading when I can and talking to people when I can, and sometimes I look at the news. Often I've answered philosophical questions, but the news is interesting at the moment, so I've had a lot of focus on that, and hopefully it has some thoughts, and then hopefully in the future I can get some questions in the live chat so I can talk to people and interact with my audience. And then I'm also hoping that I can get some guests on my YouTube channel, hopefully in the future, get some people in person, that would be nice. And then also get some people talking in the video chat. This is just ideas of mine, but for the time being I am going to just read the news and hopefully that will be fine. This is just a little update and we'll see how far I can get with it all. So let's go on home. So the news that has happened since I last went live is UK government unveils aid for self-employed. So there was talk of wages being supported that have stopped during the coronavirus, and employees, when they keep their employers, when they keep their employees, the government is willing to pay 80% of people's wages up to £2,500, and that wasn't considering the 15% of the working population that are self-employed. So the government has revealed something today to help the self-employed, which is good. So the money up to a maximum of £2,500 a month will be paid in a single lump sum and will not arrive until the start of June at the earliest. So people have to keep on surviving till then. Wage subsidies of 80% for salaried employees were announced last week, and it gets a bit complicated because you have seasonal workers and you have people not working all the time. So it's just making sure that it's fair, but it gets complicated. So the scheme is open to those who earn under £50,000 a year, up to 3.8 million of the 5 million people registered as self-employed. So it's a lot of people. The amount of people self-employed has been going up steadily over the last 20 years, which is good. And I ought to look into the camera as much as possible. So the Chancellor today helping the self-employed out. So the 95% of people will be helped out. So there still will be some people who aren't getting the help that they need, which isn't ideal, but it's good to help more people than less people. So that is the update of the self-employed and the plans to help people. UK virus deaths rise by more than 100 in a day, so that's quite a lot of people. So the death toll has risen from 475 to 578. I ought to get this live stream up and running on my phone, just so I can tell if it's working, because it can get a little bit difficult if I don't. Oh, I listened to myself there. It can get a little bit difficult if I can't see that it's working. So it's working. So the deaths have gone up by 103 people. That's quite a lot of people all in one day. So lots of people have been tested. over 11,000 positive out of over 100,000 people tested. That's a lot of people dying. So 5 days ago, 1,000 new cases were reported. On Thursday, 2,000 were. So all in one day, lots of people have been reported. So other developments, there is the latest and greatest news. Police have been given new powers to arrest people who break coronavirus lockdown. The government is facing a backlash from MPs for not joining an EU scheme to get extra ventilators during the coronavirus outbreak. Prince Charles has got coronavirus. The UK has become the largest contributor to the international coalition to find a coronavirus vaccine after donating 210 million in new aid funding, which is good. About 170 Britons stranded in Peru have returned to the UK on the first government chartered flight. That's also good. Number 10 insists the government is on course to test 10,000 people a day by the end of the week, despite testing just 6,000 on Wednesday. The government extends its target for volunteers to help NHS to 750,000 after an amazing 560,000 people signed up since Tuesday. In the US, the Senate has passed a $2 trillion disaster aid bill, which includes $1,200 for most adults. So that's a universal income which has been implemented sooner rather than later. And worldwide, there are more than 470,000 recorded infections and more than 2,100 and 270 deaths. So yeah, that's a lot of people. Cases globally, more than 500,000. Let's read this news. That's a lot of people across the world getting the virus, which isn't so good. What else is there on the news? We have a look at the so there's a self-employment plan. Yeah, it's just a bit of the unknown, really. That people are having to be supported with their jobs, but obviously there's some people really struggling because people live paycheck to paycheck, and it can be difficult to find the money to be able to live. So even when this stay-at-home guidelines were set in place by Boris Johnson on Monday, people still had to go to work if they were self-employed and had to do painting. And then if people were going to get paid in June, then what are they going to do for the rest of this month and April and May? Like, where's their money going to come from? So I think there's still going to be a sense that some people are going to really struggle, and there's going to be a lot of unemployment and a lot of businesses that will suffer and a lot of economic difficulties. We're not the only country having these difficulties. There's also underdeveloped countries which are also having lots and lots of difficulties, and even more so than our country, because we more or less have things in place to help support us, like wages being helped and the government giving us money, but not everyone has that, and some people are just gonna, when they don't go out to earn money, they just won't have enough to won't be able to feed themselves. So I think some families are really gonna struggle more than others. So at times like these, it's really unknown and we don't know how bad it's going to get, but I suspect that it's going to get pretty bad with all the people dying and and all the people suffering, and the economy is a bit of an unknown because all this money being tossed around, like America having $2 trillion stimulus fund to help people out, is just quite a lot of money all of a sudden. Where's that all coming from? I don't understand. Like when it starts talking about millions and then billions and then trillions, it gets a bit incomprehensible because like a trillion is a million, and that is hard to picture. It doesn't really make any sense. And the US is getting 2 of those. So interestingly, Bill Gates had a TED talk saying that a pandemic could cost the world $3 trillion, and already $2 trillion is that's in the US alone to help them out. So it could be that this pandemic. Oh, wait a sec, I could turn the light on here to make it a bit brighter. Yeah, so this pandemic could really be quite bad for everyone, and it could be trillions of dollars lost, which compared to the world economy is quite a proportion. So I'm hoping that things will be okay, but like on a personal level and on a global level, things are difficult, and I think that people will really go and struggle, and I don't know if that's going to affect me, because at the moment we're still able to go shopping and get food, but not every family will be in that position, because it's also relying on having enough money, and also the shop's having enough food. The shop's having enough food. Yeah, so it's all about that. So let's see if we can get any news stories which are good to talk about. So I've already looked at the oh, this is interesting. Weekly house buying interest slumps 40%. So people buying their homes slumps quite a lot of people, but that's to be expected. Oh, how many cases are in each area? So, the UK cases has just gone crazy. It's just gone 2,000. The graph is like the whistling, which is a very important aspect of graphs going up. It's a lot of people today, and we have a lot of deaths. It's going up steadily, but then it's if you look at the curve for the amount of cases each day, and then look at the amount of deaths, the curves are like obviously one's cumulative and one's on its own, but all lots of different cases. And London has a lot of cases. Wow, so in my area there's 100 cases. There's quite a lot when you think about it. Yeah. So some places have got quite a lot, and my place has got 100. There you go. So I should be concerned. But that's the UK for you. So I'll try and get some other news stories that I can look at. Coronavirus news. For your latest and greatest news. So police are able. In 11 minutes is gonna be the clap for the carers. So that's gonna be outside. So I might have to nip outside to my back garden and do a bit of a clap for the carers. I might do that. But for the minute I'm just here talking. So around the country we're clapping for carers and the NHS. So there's one girl had the idea, and it's gone across the world. Yeah. So there's lots of videos and stuff. Oh, it was funny. There was this little kid, and the mum was saying all the different fast food places that were closed, and she was like crying, the little kid, and she just kept on mentioning all the different places they go to, and then she kept on screaming and crying because it wasn't that good. Yeah, but there you go. That's people not being able to eat food and having to eat their mum's cooking. But I'm quite used to mum's cooking. It's very good. So I wonder if there's any interesting news. There's a little website where all the things count up.
Can I go now and we're watching it a bit more tomorrow?
And the deaths are counting up. I'd rather not see that go up. Active cases, closed cases, recovered, and people that died. Just looking at all these things. But I'm going to go off script a little bit here and try and talk without my iPad tablet thing. So I'm just going solo without my cue, without the messages in my ear. Just what do I think? I think the future is really unknown. We don't know whether this we'll get coronavirus, for example. We don't know whether we'll get ill. And we don't know the impact this is going to have on our lives long term. Because right now we're being asked to stay inside, and we're self-isolating. But how long can we do that realistically until people give up? And then the virus might spread worse than ever. Because 3 weeks is enough. But if the cases don't die down and things continue to spread, then 3 weeks might not be enough. We might have to do it for 2 months, 3 months. And can people really manage staying at home for 3 months? And from personal experience, I will say, yes, I am able to do that, because I am an expert when it comes to staying at home and having myself entertainment and stuff. I like watching YouTube, I like doing podcasts, I like writing books, I like playing games, and all these things, and all these things are great. And I just I quite like staying at home. I've been at home for nearly 3 months. I've been fine, and got a bit longer to do until my college starts, and I really hope that does start. I really hope it doesn't get postponed a year or something. I think by that stage people will just accept that it's things are bad and the virus is spreading, and that we might be talking about herd immunity and everything. So because they can't stop life forever, they can't keep us inside for like 2 years. Like nothing will get done, surely. So I'm looking forward to my college, and I hope it does happen. But if I had done the college in any other time, then it might have been really hard to keep at it. And so I'm lucky that I'm starting in September rather than being in the first, second, or third year. So things have worked out quite well for me in my slow own individual methods of getting on to university courses. Taken me 4 years instead of just doing it straight away, but that's okay. 22, that's not too bad. I've been 20 for 2 years. 22. Oh well. Anyway, so my life is on pause, but then it was on pause anyway. And I wrote a book. I keep on saying it, but I like the fact that I've done that, and it's a very short book with lots of spelling mistakes, but that's okay. What else have I done? Done this podcast. This is my 12th Peter Repeater, and Peter will continue to repeat, and hopefully I can continue this another day. It's just this world. It's just the stats keep on going up, and the government keeps on responding, and it feels a little bit disconcerting that 100 people die in a day, more than ever in this country and in the UK, and then we're talking about giving money to self-employed people in June. Just feels all a little bit too little too late. But then also, if we're talking about giving self-employed people money in June, then that sort of implies that we're not going to be staying inside for 3 weeks. It's going to be 3 months until June. So I don't think this is going to go away, which is a bit of a shame. So all in all, I just think we're in a bit of a crisis, and what can we do personally? We can help each other out. We can keep our mental health in check. I think that's a good important thing to do. Do things you like. Don't watch the news too much. Keep up to date if you want to when you can, but don't go 2 hours in a row with the news. Just have little moments here and there, and if you're not interested in the news, then just ignore it all. And mental health is about being aware of yourself and not pushing yourself too much, and just give yourself a break when you need it, and be willing to prioritize your mental well-being over other stresses you may have. And I've done that many times in my life when homework just doesn't seem possible, so I just don't do it. Oh well. But that's the school life. Getting a little bit tired here. I was hoping to talk as long as possible, but I don't know how long I can talk. Anyway, 2 minutes time is the clap for the NHS. I won't clap because I don't know what that's going to sound like on the microphone. What do I think is really going to happen? Do I think our country is going to run out of food? I don't know. I have a little amount of life in my face, I can see. The expression is not great. The energy levels are at a minimum, but this is my second live stream today, so there you go. Hopefully that's not too bad, and hopefully I can just enjoy myself. Sometimes it's worse. Sometimes there's people watching, but the internet doesn't work and stuff like that. So what's going to happen to the world? What do I think is going to happen, if I had to guess? I think our idea of what a job is and what we value in life, and just how temporary and how fragile the work we do is, just that feeling, that sense of being stuck in a job, I think that needs to disappear. I think we need to be better than that and find other ways of living our life, rather than just being stuck in front of a computer screen doing things that you don't particularly enjoy that much. And I just think we need to, just even school and stuff is not optimal. We should be learning so we can enjoy ourselves. So luckily I can find something that I enjoy and make the most out of a situation. And hopefully I can do that. But even if I don't do it, I'm just going to have to balance my life, so it's more than just me watching YouTube from time to time and going and studying and going and doing all these things. I think my studying is going to be good. I quite like doing that. I'm doing something interesting and something I like, doing software development. I think I'm going to really like that. And having a sense of purpose, being able to do stuff, having an occupation, there was something special about that. Feeling a sense of worth, feeling like you're more than just what you do. I mean, like, just feeling like you're doing something and you're contributing to the world. That's a unique experience you get from school and studying. And oh, this is funny. Somebody is clapping. Somebody, I thought the clapping wouldn't happen, but the clapping is happening inside my own house. Who knew? Who knew I had a couple of clappers that I was living with? Oh well. Anyway, you shouldn't say that in a bad way. Go ahead and clap, they deserve it. That's funny. I don't know how long you meant to clap for. Anyway, never mind. Hi, Dad.
Let's go with clapping outside.
Yeah, that's nice.
You did some clapping outside.
Very nice, Dad.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, I think it works better in a balcony environment. The clapping, instead of living in a rural area where you live a lot of distance apart and you just hear the people clapping in your own house and that's it. And I do feel a little bit bad that I'm not clapping, but needs must. I wasn't planning on clapping, if I'm honest with you. Just think it's a bit disingenuous. I don't know. Just doesn't seem natural to go outside and clap. I know I'm probably a really bad person, probably not the best person to talk to about clapping for carers and stuff. I think it's a worthwhile endeavour. PewDiePie just uploaded a video, so there's that to look forward to. Yeah, so hopefully I chat a little bit. I just don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully jobs don't exist anymore and we just stay at home now. People need to go to work for like a sense of purpose and everything, and making sure that they make the most out of life and everything. And I don't need that, really don't. I probably will value it. Probably people will go back to the way things were, more or less. Just feels like time doesn't progress sometimes. Feels like you can be stuck in a job for 40 years and then that's it, and then nothing changes, and you do the same day in and day out every day. And I've done it for a year, and to be honest, I've had enough of it, to be honest. But yeah, that's my personal reaction to something. I just think you need to really enjoy things, make the most out of life. Yeah, and hopefully I can do that. That'll be good. Yeah, so what I'm thinking is like, it's not all bad. There are definitely good parts to things. There are, but it's hard. Like if you're in school and you're not particularly enjoying it, or you know, if you're in work and you're not particularly enjoying it, you can take things for granted, and there are things that are good. Yeah. Anyway, so I just think that the whole idea of going to work and doing things and being productive, let's just put in a little bit of perspective when all you really need is food and water and everything, and you don't need all these added luxuries that I really appreciate people when they do watch my channel, because it gives me an incentive to keep on going and keep on talking. So if you ever do come and stumble across my channel and see me live, at this stage you're probably the only one, and that's what keeps me talking, you know, just keeps me going, which is a good thing because it just keeps me uploading videos, really, because I feel like when you're talking about something and someone's listening, then it's all worth it. Talking to yourself and no one listening is just not worth it. And you could say that someone always is listening. If you believe in God, God's always listening, so everything matters still. But unfortunately for me, God doesn't have a YouTube channel where he can count as a viewer on my live stream. He's just watching me without giving me the stats. Now, talking about God, I said this, you've probably heard, I wrote a book. It's on Amazon Kindle. It's called An Unbelievable God. If you search that on Kindle, An Unbelievable God, and you can read it if you like. And I put it as lowest possible price at 99p. So if you have a Kindle, or you get the Kindle app on your phone, that'd be pretty cool. Get me someone to read my book, make me feel good about my life, and hopefully people will read my book and they can make me feel good about my life. Like earlier today, I was live streaming and like about 4 people watching, and the internet wasn't good, but 4 people watching, so that was pretty good. I think it was a testament to how many people were watching. Probably it was like, oh, there was loads of people online, so the internet wasn't very good for me. So it was sort of good and bad. People watching, but then maybe there's people on the internet and the internet didn't properly work. So on this channel, it would be tempting to talk about the coronavirus all the time, but it's not essential. It gives me something to talk about, gives me an ability to be aware about the situation and to be up to date with the current state of affairs. But it's not essential for this podcast. I could talk about other things. I could talk about philosophical questions and the meaning of life, and I just think my place in the universe is so much more than what I do in the day. I just think there's an intrinsic value to each person that transcends what we do, and I think it's a mistake to try and narrow ourselves to a particular set of descriptions. If we say, I'm a nurse, or I'm a policeman, or that's all there is, I'm a Christian, or something like that, you can really restrict yourself. And I think there's something about being conscious and sentient and aware of existence which is really special. And it just amazes me how things exist and we're aware of existence. And almost if it wasn't for us being aware of existence, we wouldn't be able to acknowledge existence, so there wouldn't be an existence, because there could be a universe out there without life to observe it. So really it's not there. It's like, does a tree make a sound if it falls in the forest? and no one hears it. Obviously the answer is yeah, it does make a sound, but you just can't hear it, which is philosophically challenging. I'm aware that if I keep on talking, I get to cover more topics and cover more ground and find interesting things that I like, which can only be a good thing. I also do kind of hold out for the possibility of more people joining my podcast and more people joining my live chat, and I think if I keep at it, I will. It will happen. I will get some people joining in and stuff. That will be a good thing. So hopefully that will happen. But tomorrow I'll be live. I just got to do what I like, really. So I just this is what the world has come to. Just do what you like. Yeah, I'll just be live in the daytime and then possibly in the night time as well. See if I can play some games at the weekend as well. Keep a variety, but I really like this podcast setup, really, and it's really beneficial to me and the world in general. So sounds good. I'm just aware that I've been live for over 30 minutes, which is a respectable amount. I was live, I'm always live, but I mean on YouTube live for longer. Yesterday I was live today for a period of time, and that was pretty good. Just talking about being live, to be honest. I'm feeling a bit tired, so I'll probably end it here. And I appreciate the one person watching, and I hope we can get some more people along with us to talk about stuff and find some more interesting things to talk about as well. So I appreciate you all, everything that every time someone watches, I feel that's a good thing, and hopefully I can get some more people watching tomorrow. But till then, thank you very much. I'll actually move. Haven't moved that much, but I appreciate it. See you tomorrow. Bye for now. Bye.